What happened this morning?
Aloha, aloha, everybody. Aloha. Welcome, welcome. It is Transformational Tuesday, and who better to have with me than Mrs. Simone Drakes? She is an amazing person, I could tell you for sure. Somebody who has worked with me, has become not only a client, but a very close friend. And in seeing her transformation for Transformational Tuesday has been amazing. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about why the number one reason cravings are either running your world, ruining and sabotaging your weight loss efforts. That is what we are talking about today. So welcome, welcome. Let me know who you are. Lifestyle coach, designer, co-designer of the BodyLuxe system with Miss Violet White as well. Thank you so much for joining me. So here's Simone. Why don't you go on ahead and feel free to introduce yourself?
Wow. Okay. I was introduced to the BodyLuxe system via my daughter's dance studio back in the end of November of 2016. Since then, I have worked with Lola mainly, but also with Violet on my transformation, learning, growth, not only with what you eat, but also the emotions that support your current conditions and your current habits, and breaking those habits and creating new ones. It's certainly been a journey for me, and I continue to look forward to, new learnings, new opportunities for growth and lifestyle changes.
Woo! Cravings, if you were to have to guess, cravings were controlling your life at one point, would you say? And talking to many other women out there who are dealing with this craving struggle, sabotaging not only their weight loss efforts, but their health efforts.
It's something that you don't recognize at first. Things that, like, I had this habit where every 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm at work. I'm under a lot of stress because my job requires a lot of my time, dedication, etc. Workload is very heavy. I would go towards something salty or something sweet, depending on how my mood was that day, or maybe my hormonal cycle at the time. And you don't realize this habitual thing that you're doing is not helping you on your weight loss journey. Even with regards to working out, I'm an avid person. I love to be physical. I'm always out, doing something, cycling, going to my Orange Theory classes, or always being very active, but not making any progress on the weight loss gain due to these, like I said, cravings or habits that you just don't realize that you have.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And the cravings are definitely indeed emotionally this idea of inability to produce enough willpower. It makes us very powerless as the empowered and strong women that we truly are. And I think that was something that you've seen, being very successful in your life and in your business and your career. And now it's like, wait, the sugar has control over me. How is, so I think that a lot of women who are strong and successful in that way, they allow it to equate who they are in other areas of their life. Like, and it's confusing. It's very frustrating because here you're very strong, very powerful. And then wait, how is it I'm vulnerable and weak perception-wise when it comes to these foods? And what people don't really realize is with a lot of these cravings is they are literally starting to if you had to just kind of guess. I'm going to go into the top three in a minute, but if you were just to guess, what would have been contributing to the inability to stay focused and keep that momentum when cravings would come in? What would you think the reasons would be or were at the time?
A lot of the emotional factors behind it. It became, food and other things became my support mechanism for stress. And recognizing the behavior was the first step, right? Awareness is always the first step in overcoming a certain habit or behavior. But also being accepting of a lot of the drivers, the emotional drivers behind those habits, especially the food habits.
Thank you so much for this. So we did a poll. A trigger of cravings for us, and very few got the answer that I was looking for and the answer that it actually is. But the top one I'm going to go into a minute. Number 3 is really the sleep deprivation, right? It's a factor and a contributor to stress in that way. So the sleep is truly affecting us. I think my screen might have froze here. I'm not sure what happened. Simone, come back to us. Are you there?
Yes, what's happening, I think my Wi-Fi connection is not that great, and so sometimes your audio is going in and out. I'm trying to
okay. All right, so I'll try to slow down. So I was saying that number 3, so this is the third one that I find, and from doing a lot of the research, and I'm sure you can definitely relate to, is sleep. Sleep is number 3. That's number 3 on the list, because all these factors are really contributing to a stressor, a greater inflammation in the body. But sleep is so important, and we just look at sleep as, I'll sleep when I'm dead, whether it's to make money, whether it's to train. Right? So what would you say in regards to sleep? I know this is something that we've gone back and forth with as part of the process, but what would you say in regards to sleep being a factor of cravings? Would you say that that is true, or would you say that that's false? I hear Irissa. Irissa!
Well, yes, 100% agree. It's a huge contributor. Even from the standpoint of my weight loss journey, a definite difference in when I got sleep and when I didn't get sleep. It has been one of the largest challenges, I think, in the weight loss journey, is dedicating the time to make sure that you get at least, your 6 to 7 hours when the night comes, because it's like you got to sacrifice your time, your workout time that you have scheduled, especially for those ladies that work full time like I do. You got to, allocate and make yourself the priority in that case, to manage it, to own up to it first, because I was used to doing the 3 to 4 hours of sleep every night and be like, oh, I'm good. I can, continue going on this. But it's certainly, at the end of the day, your body needs that energy. It needs, the recuperation, the inflammation is one of the things that I've had a hard time dealing with as well. It needs to repair and rebuild. And that's during the time you sleep is when it's doing that mostly. So I would totally agree that it is a huge contributor to the cravings.
Yay! Thank you so much for sharing. And it's an ongoing journey, right? It's not something that we can just, address in a matter of a few months, or even for some people, 6 months. It takes that time and that repattering, because we're such a society, I think, that has come from that place of, I'll sleep later, I'll sleep when I'm dead. And we just keep going and going until we have these massive hits. And that's what allows us to down spiral and then say, wait, what happened? Oh, it can't be. And then we question. We're like, no, sleep. I've been going my whole 20s, my whole college years, studying, getting my MBA and my BA, and sleep never affected me before. So it's hard sometimes to compute and process that sleep can be such a critical factor, because the subconscious is always seeing people put sleep what as last, to be successful, right? To be successful, to have wealth, but to have health, right? We can't put sleep last. And in the end, we'll end up paying that wealth for what? Our health. So it's a great preventative support for decreasing not only stress of the body. Now we're just getting by, and the more inflammation that is going on in the body, now the more nutrients the body requires. And this leads to the number 2 on the list is dehydration, right? Lack of sleep, a rise in inflammation is going to start to really dehydrate the body, the brain. Process to that next level to allow us to really see, wow, this is possible, because we're so drained, and a lot of this can come from a form of dehydration. So what would you say about dehydration and hydrating the body, Simone, as we've worked together for, it's going to be almost a year, right? It's going to be like 9 months. Yeah, 9 months. So
yeah, I'm totally guilty of that too. I ended up making myself a regiment to remind myself throughout the day how much water I actually needed to intake. It was a struggle, but I think that one was a little easier than I'd say, a lot of the other ones. And then, as you said, making it a routine, making it a habit is also the commitment that you need to make to yourself. And yeah, definitely a difference in whether or not I drank that day or I didn't, as far as, the weight loss journey and fighting the cravings. I remember you mentioning to me that when you first get a craving, sometimes it's the body telling yourself that, hey, I'm thirsty and you need to drink some water. And so that really was, wow, I didn't think of it that way, that my body was actually talking to me and saying, you really do need to hydrate. And that changed. That was a turning point for me in my development.
Yay! And you see it. You see it in your skin. You see it in your bowels, even the regularity that we have, and the type of water that we're drinking too can be important, because you could be drinking 3-4 liters, right? I don't want to say gallons. You'll be dead. Liters of water. And it's like, I'm still thirsty. I still feel thirsty. So these can be some signs of dehydration. And one of the major signs that I find for dehydration is headaches, right? We get a headache and we think, oh, it's allergy. Or we get a headache and we think, oh, the weather is changing. We get a headache and we think, oh, it's food we ate. But it may, in fact, be your inability to properly hydrate and support that hydration of the system. It happens, and even feeling like our legs are heavier. So certain signs like that, headaches, poor joint mobility, could be signs of dehydration. Back aches, even lower back ache for a lot of people. I know that that's something that you've even the more we give in to those cravings and allow them to overtake us is the driving factor of dehydrating the body, because there's a specific amount of nutrients and water that is needed to process. So thank you so much for sharing that. And number 1 is one of my favorite, what I'm very passionate about, now. It's not just the weight loss, it's not just the detox, but it's really the balancing of the gut. The balancing of the gut. 70% of our cravings are associated with, drum roll please, it is the imbalance of gut bacteria. We think it's the cravings, we think it's the sugar, we think it's the emotional connecting. All these are factors, but the imbalance of the gut bacteria is really what is triggering a lot of these cravings. For instance, Candida albicans, yeast overgrowth in the body. And this is something that we're working with now, right, with you, in helping to repair the gut, because environment that's conducive for them to grow, right? So we're fueling now that bacteria, we're fueling that yeast, and we're permeating, the integrity of the gut. So there's a permeability of the gut, which is similar to leaky gut, basically. So cravings can be triggered, number one, by an imbalanced bacteria of the gut, known as, number one being Candida, but there's many gut bacteria that are going on. And that's something that we learned together, and going through your test, is how your test these growths of the imbalance of these bacteria. So what would you have to say as far as supporting your gut, or when you are supporting your gut, and the relation or the correlation to your cravings?
Significantly diminished. I'd say, I had certain foods on my list that I enjoy. So I had, what we all want to say is our cheat days.
Or cheat days. What are they called? Treat days. Treat days. Remember? Treat days.
Treat days.
It's all about the perception.
After going through the process of recognizing the foods that, I needed to take away, because we're doing the gut rebuild, all the work that we did prior, that yes, I was capable of doing, and yes, we had weight loss progress with it, but every once in a while you still have the one or two items on your list that you feel like you just can't do without. But being able to remove those through the gut repair system that you shared with me, I no longer have the cravings, and my life significantly improved. Coffee was one of those things. It was my go-to treat whenever I was extremely tired. Again, not.
And what you're referring to, right, is the testing now. So we did the gut testing,
Stress,
looked at the different strains. And then what we did is, after looking at the bacteria and seeing that there was a leaky gut issue, we now removed the specific foods that your body was triggered by, in allowing that leaky gut to continue. Of the continued bacteria. A major thing for you, right? But your test showed it. So it wasn't just Lola saying, hey, we gotta eliminate coffee for a period of time. Your test actually showed that. And how important was that testing to show in black and white that, okay, this is real?
Yeah. Affirmation of everything that we were already witnessing through the program. When you start monitoring what you're eating, and you start, being accountable for everything that you put in your mouth, you start noticing certain trends, right? That when you have certain meals within, 50 something hours of digestion, you'd have a certain reaction. And then going through those tests with you was an affirmation. And some of it was also learning, that, hey, you really shouldn't be having, whatever particular meal it is that your test shows that you have a reaction to. And I don't know, I think confirmation is I need help here with a word, but
It
it's
solidifies
you
it,
know
right,
that
for you. I think
yes,
it solidifies
yes.
it. It's like, I'm not, it's what's great, I think, is it grants women that freedom of knowing I'm not crazy. Of continued transformation for weight loss, because yes, the weight loss is great, but I think there's so much of a deeper transformation that was happening. Of supporting the number one issue and really, can you hear me?
I
Simone.
didn't hear the last part. I'm sorry. We're having
Oh,
a little bit of trouble on the
I said
connection.
that
So
to know that you're a transformative woman, that gives you that power to say, I can begin again. Yes, the weight is part of it, but there was so much more that was connected to see really like this web of lies that we tell ourselves. You know, the guilt, shame, blame, fear that I think keep us in this vicious continuing of thriving, really is what I want to say, of thriving, that you are worthy of thriving.
yes,
Absolutely.
I think
Okay.
yeah, I'm having a hard time with the connection. I apologize for that. But yeah, I mean, I'm a 100% believer in everything that I've learned thus far, and I feel as though my journey has just started. So even, after a year, I still think that I'm super excited about learning what else I can do to improve my life.
It's contagious, right? What else is possible? That is
What
my
else is possible?
mantra. That is my mantra, right? What else is much easier has it been for you to adapt to this transformative lifestyle and this level of transformation that is really going on for you?
Um, Not easy at all. I do live a very, very hectic lifestyle. Most people won't believe, but I'm out the door at 7:30 every morning and I don't get home till 8 o'clock at night. So making those decisions to put my nutritional life and emotional life first and foremost above my work and other obligations took a significant commitment. And it took a couple tries to get it right, and to be consistent. So yeah, it's totally doable. And if anybody ever challenges me on telling me it's not doable, I think that's more of an encouragement of a reason to do it. And the results speak for themselves. And there's a happiness that comes about it. There's an appreciation, and also I've developed on many different levels how I interact with my colleagues, interact with my family. Um, I remember, having certain conversations with you, and you're like, wait, you need to give them time to adjust to who you are now. And I mean, totally different me, a very different me, one that I like.
One you like. You hear that, everybody? So yes, this was about cravings, and the number one reason, right, that cravings are ruling our life, because that's the beginning stages, right? That's the thought process that we have is, oh my God, if I could only tackle these cravings. And as we go through the process, we reveal that there is so much more connected, that it's not just cravings, it's so much more. But it's a good place to start. And I think it's a good place for others out there listening to you to hear the correlation and the strong points that you've addressed here with us today, and being able to support your health. right? And the struggles, and then constantly changing as powerful women that we are. So I think Ramon.
I didn't hear you. Sorry.
Oh, I
Can you
said
repeat that?
any closing remarks that you have.
Um, I've done like almost every single program out there. And for those that are curious about the BodyLuxe program, I'm 100% advocate. I mean,
She cut off. Wait.
it has, am I back yet?
Yeah, you're back. You said I'm 100% advocate. That was it.
Yes, of the program because of its transformation, things that it's done to my life, not only physically, but emotionally.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I thank you so much for being a guest today, for is differentiate the way we would have reacted to our struggles in the past. And I would definitely say that you're one who is better supported. And I'm so proud to be your coach. And I know Violet is proud to have been able to support you as well. And we continue working with this, you know, supporting the gut now moving forward. We've done the testing. We're looking at the foods that need to be eliminated for a period of time, improving the gut, collagen, probiotics. We're going into all those specific nutrients on a therapeutic level to really support the gut. You know, collagen, glutamine, some of the other stuff that you're taking now are really important for making sure that integrity of the gut lining is those tight gap junctions or whatever are going to be healed and sealed. So this takes time too. But if we're introducing those food offenders on a daily basis while trying to heal the gut, that's why it's not going to work. It's going to be counterproductive, right? So even though we're getting good gut healing nutrients, we have to look at where we're able to eliminate those food offenders that are going to continue the gut to be leaky on a long-term basis. And that's what we're looking at. We're looking for long-term success, long-term maintenance. So again, closing out with that, thank you so much, Simone. I look forward to connecting with you. You know, we connect, we follow up all the time. So tomorrow is day one for you. This is going to be a September to remember. Lots of love and hugs. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.